What's going on, guys? It's Issa, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I want to discuss something a little bit different. Today I'm going to talk about perception, right? What is perception, right? When we think about perception, it's just somebody's view of their surroundings. That's essentially what perception is. Now, over my years of, I guess, living, I'm only 21, but I feel like I have good experience with this. What I've observed is a lot of the greats in any field, and a lot of the people that I've seen that have gone on to become very successful or were really good in like soccer or school or went on to have good businesses, they all have one thing in common. And that thing is they have a amazing sense of perception. Now, perception is also knowing your surroundings, being aware of what's going on around you. And I feel as though a lot of people have a perception of where they're at in life, but a lot of that perception can be negative. You get what I'm saying? So have you ever heard of the phrase, there's two different people and one sees the glass half full, the other one sees it half empty, right? That's a sense of perception. The person that typically views it as half full is usually the one that is more optimistic, right? Optimism is a big component of this. So let's say you're in a big, you're in a situation, you're in a pretty bad, excuse me, there's guys that just, yelling and playing video games. So I don't know if you guys can hear that, but apologize for that. So let's say you're in a really bad situation. Let's say you're in an apartment in like New York City and you want to get out of that apartment, but you have a low income job. It's not, things are just not happening. There's two things you can do. You can either look at the negatives, right? Have a negative perception about the situation. Or you can turn around and look at the positives. For me, optimism is always a great thing, right? We all have goals, we all have ambitions. I have goals and I have ambitions, right? I don't want to be just a nobody, right? I want to create a name for myself, whether that's playing soccer, whether that's starting a business, whatever it is. I know that I want to be the best at it and I want to be known in this world, right? But I have to look at my situation where I'm at realistically, but I have to also look at it from a lens of, okay, I'm here. What's going great for me? How can I improve? Because the moment you start looking at things negatively, that's when you start to notice all the bad things. When you notice all the bad things, it makes things seem long. It makes things seem like, I could never, ever do this. No, you need to erase that from your mind. What you need to do is you need to look at the situation, look at the positives, right? Look at where you're at. Look at what you're learning. Look at the people that you're meeting. Look at your area. What can I do? All right. What is the best solution for me where I'm at? Right? Because as soon as you start looking at the positives, things start to change. You put it in your mind, okay, I'm looking for the positives. You start attracting things into your life. You start becoming more, like I said, optimistic. And when you're optimistic, your energy, your aura starts to attract good things. People gravitate towards it. It's magnetism. It's energy, right, guys? Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It has to move. It has to flow somewhere, right? So when you have this aura of positivity, of being optimistic and knowing what you want in life, things just start to come, right? So you have to change your perception. And I get it. It's hard, especially when you're in a situation where things just seem dark. They seem dim. They seem like, how am I ever going to get to where I need to go? Well, that's why very few people are known and succeed in this life. Why? Because those that succeed have this optimistic, almost delusional, actually, you consider it is delusional perception of where they're going to be in life, right? And this is a shift that I had to make as well personally, right? As a kid growing up, I always looked at things negatively. I have to admit, I was always a negative kid. But over the last few years, I've worked on changing my perspective and things have started to open up for me. I've started to see life change, life become more effortless in terms of me flowing. I'm less stressed. I'm in the flow of things. I'm accepting of different situations. Because The moment you change your perspective on something, you start to notice opportunities that you didn't know were there before. Things come to you, things gravitate towards you, right? So I highly recommend everyone to try and change their perspective. Now, you could do this in many ways. One of the ways that I personally did this is grabbed a notebook, just any notebook and a pen, and I wrote down basically the pros and cons of where I'm at, right? Why don't I like what I like? And it would be a whole list of them. And then I would think, okay, well, if I'm going to look at the bright side of things, what is the opposite of these things? So once you start to think of the opposite, things just start to open up, right? And it's different for everyone. It's different for me, but this worked for me, and I highly recommend it for you. When you start looking at the positive, you start thinking, okay, well, maybe I can build something. Maybe I can get better. I'm going to use it in the sense of context of soccer and sports, because I obviously play soccer. I'm currently a student athlete in college. So I'll look at it this way. Let's say you're not playing or you're not starting. It's easy to make excuses, and it's easy to sit around and say, the coach is an idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about. This is this. No. What you need to do is you need to look at yourself. You need to look at what's your surrounding. What do I need to work on? You need to think from a growth mindset. And that's something that I'll talk about in another video, because growth mindset is very important. You need to change the perspective. You need to change the way you think about the situation. So for me, I would think about it like, okay, well, the coach is testing me. He's putting me on the bench because he wants me to work harder. He wants me to show more. Okay, well, I'm going to show him more. I'm going to go early to training. I'm going to work harder. I'm going to go and I'm going to compete in training. And I'm going to be great. So for me, putting yourself out there, you have to be headstrong, and you have to have an optimistic perception of things. Life doesn't go the way it's supposed to go sometimes, right? Things just get thrown at you. Life has unexpected turns. And if we're constantly in looking at life in a way that is very negative, especially from a negative perspective, we're only going to attract and see the negative in everything. But when you're positive, when you look for the optimistic point of view, there's ways out. Things just happen. People flow to you. I'm telling you, this works, this works, this works. You need to change your mindset to be great. And I know you're great. The person watching this video, you, that's right, you watching it. You have the power to do amazing things in this life. But again, it's little steps like this. Small steps like this. Like, there's a quote from Michael Jordan, right? Everyone knows Michael Jordan, right? I would say his perception on the basketball court is different than a lot of other people's. You know, he has a famous quote, why would I be scared of a shot that I never even took yet? That's a perception, right? Because other people will be like, oh, what if I miss? What if I this? What if I that? He's not even thinking about that. He's just thinking, well, it can either go in or it can go out. And I don't know, but I'm going to take the shot anyways. Because his perception is more of an optimistic. He's like, whoa, well, what if I do make it? Right? So he's one of those people that views the glass half full rather than half empty. And I want you guys to just change your mindset and be more of the way of thinking where it's half full. So again, guys, just to recap, perception is huge. It can determine your success or failure. And I know that might seem extreme, but trust me, as soon as you change your perception on life and your self-concept, things just start to open up. People gravitate towards it. People can sense that energy. We have energy. We're souls. We attract what we give out to the universe. And if you are consistently in a pissed off mood, you're in a negative mood, that's all you're going to get. You're going to get negative, right? But if you know how to control your emotions, you know how to be calm in the moment, you know how to look around at the positives and say, okay, I can make this work. I can make this work. It'll take you farther than anything else, farther than work ethic, farther than everything. Actually, you can make the argument that changing the mind, changing the perception is work ethic in itself. You're working hard on your mental, and it's hard, guys. I know. I'm still working on it, right? I catch myself, looking at things from a negative point of view all the time. But the fact that I caught myself and I know that I'm doing it and I make the quick change is what needs to happen. So guys, what I want you to do, and you know what? It's up to you. But what I recommend to do is just grab a pen, right? Whatever situation you're in, grab this, write down, why do you feel the way you do? What are the negatives, right? And as soon as you write down all the negatives, start thinking about the opposite. How would you feel if you were optimistic? How would you feel if you saw it from a different perspective? Eventually, what that's going to do is that's going to change your mind. You're going to program your mind. And I highly recommend it. Start something small that you want to change in your life or that you're not happy about, and look at the positives in it. Trust me, it'll change everything, guys. So thank you for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe. More content on the way. I'm very excited. You know, we'll see what happens with this channel, but thank you guys. Love you guys. And remember, keep a positive mindset, keep a growth mindset, which we'll talk about in the next video, and always change your perspective. Thanks.